Hi, welcome to this brand new podcast called Take It Easy with Dr. Shonpal. It's kind of like just chilling out, kicking back, relaxing, talking about all things health and wellness, because prevention is the cure. Welcome to a brand new episode of Take It Easy with Dr. Shonpal, entitled, Is Sitting Really the New Smoking? So today we're going to be talking about some topical issues which I hope will enlighten you and share a few thoughts that I've come up with about this topic. So sitting is the new smoking. Sounds sexy, maybe over the top. How can that even be possible? How can sitting equal smoking? Maybe you've heard of this phrase before, or maybe you haven't. Well, never fear, Dr. Shonpal is here to open your eyes to what's going on. Over the last episode, I've been careful not to get onto the bandwagon of COVID-19, which is obviously a very serious issue and needs discussion. But I think discussing this topic of sitting is even now more important than ever before. So, what the hell does this even mean? I don't smoke. Hell, I even do some steps to and from my bathroom to my bedroom. I exercise 3 times a week. So surely I should be fit. Let's put it in perspective. 1 in 4 people smoke. That's 25% of the population. That's huge. We're talking about the world. And in about 1 in 1 people sit down. That basically means everyone, of course, sits down at some point. So the topic I want to discuss again, like I said, is sitting is the new smoking. Is it overhyped? Is it nonsense? Well, I will go through the research and see whether it's correct. Sitting. Some studies have discussed a link that sitting has a worse outcome than smoking. Physical inactivity, especially sitting for long periods of time, is a greater risk, they say, than smoking, if not worse. They also say that you can't simply undo the damage that prolonged sitting has done by doing a 45-minute workout. Studies have been linked showing inactivity in relation to being overweight, obese, type 2 diabetes, some types of cancer, and even early death. Sitting for long periods is thought to slow the metabolism, which affects the body's ability to regulate blood sugar, blood pressure, and break down body fat. The human body is not designed for long periods of sitting. Instead, it works best when it spends a significant portion of time throughout the day standing and walking. These activities keep the blood moving, aid digestion, and allow the body to metabolize nutrients. Sitting also puts strain on the neck and lower back, which are not designed to support the body in a sitting position for long periods. When we sit, the body's process for breaking down fats and sugars properly are stalled. A lack of physical activity can reduce quality of sleep as well, which means the body does not get the rest it needs to repair itself and continue important processes. Poor sleep may also perpetuate the cycle of sedentary behavior. If you're tired, you probably feel less motivated to be active. To reduce our risk of ill health from inactivity, we are advised to exercise regularly, at least 150 minutes a week, and reduce sitting time. Many adults in the UK spend around 9 hours a day sitting. This includes watching TV, using a computer, reading, doing homework, travelling by car, bus or train, but does not include sleeping. So that's a huge amount of time, 9 hours sitting a day. The UK Chief Medical Officer's Physical Activity Guidelines report, wow, that's a mouthful, recommends breaking up long periods of sitting time with activity for just 2 to 3 minutes. However, there is currently not enough evidence to set a time limit on how much time people should sit each day. Nevertheless, some countries, such as Australia, have recommended that children limit screen time, such as TV and video games, to 1 to 2 hours a day. This is to reduce the time spent sitting. When I see patients, I don't think that's very practical, and I'm not sure how reasonable that is when a kid's playing. Research has shown that sedentary behavior contributes to obesity and metabolic syndrome, which can increase a person's blood pressure, blood sugar, body fat, and cholesterol levels. Although some studies have linked excessive sitting to other serious diseases, these health issues likely arise in people who are already dealing with obesity. This means that even if you do sit during work and or leisure time, adding exercise and a balanced diet to your day will reduce many of the health risks associated with sitting. The next topic I'm going to talk about is neck and back pain. Millions of people now are working from home during the corona pandemic. What does that mean? We are seeing a lot more consultations as doctors and GPs with regards to increasing neck and back pain. This comes from the fact that many people are using their computers on a sofa or hunched over a coffee table. And even if they're not, they may be sitting at their desks, typing a lot and sending a lot of emails, having a lot of video conferencing. And these patients are complaining a lot more of neck and back pain. You may be experiencing neck pain for the first time, or maybe your on and off neck pain that you've had for a number of years has gotten worse. So, stress plays a role, particularly with the coronavirus. We're all feeling stress, and this often gets carried in our neck and shoulders, causing our muscles to tighten and possibly spasm. Your stress can also cause you to clench your jaws or grind your teeth while sleeping, which often results in neck pain. So this means that patients can complain of headaches, increasing neck pain or back pain. This is why sitting and our environment can be putting a large amount of strain and tension in the neck. I'll be discussing ways to improve and help minimize these problems later on in the podcast. Just take a step back for a moment. Obviously, we're aware that sitting is very bad for us. But how bad is it? From between 2012 to 2016, media stories comparing sitting with smoking increased around 12-fold, and it was also included in some journals and publications. In record time, office floor pans were reconfigured for standing and treadmill desks. People were boasting about spending hours on their feet instead of on their backsides. But soon, new studies shows excess hours sitting in one position could damage knees, hips, thighs, ankles, and even result in varicose veins. So maybe it isn't true that sitting is the new smoking. In November 2018, there was a publication in the American Journal of Public Health which looked at research comparing smoking with sitting. And what they found is that this claim was actually misleading. They said that while research does suggest excessive sitting, roughly more than 8 hours a day, increases the risk of premature death and some chronic diseases by around 10 to 20%. This really pales in comparison to the risk associated with smoking. Let's look at it another way. If all men in America changed from sitting often to sitting rarely, there would be around 190 fewer deaths from every 100,000 people. And if every male smoker in America had never smoked, there would be 1,554 fewer deaths per 100,000 people. So sitting is unhealthy, but nothing like as unhealthy as a pack-a-day habit. Why? Smoking is one of the greatest public health disasters of the past century. Sitting isn't, and you really can't compare the two. Also, you have to think about it in another way. Sitting is not even addictive or a danger to other people. Whereas if you're smoking, you're not only damaging yourself, but there's also secondary inhalation from other people around you, as well as the pollution and the other associated risks and economic impact on society. Essentially, equating the risk with smoking is not correct. That's not to say that sitting isn't anything to be complacent about, since it is linked to a number of other related health issues as discussed, such as diabetes and depression. However, the link pales when compared to smoking. Maybe the articles that were published were paid by standing desk companies, you never know. The amount of hype relating to these stories can be misleading for the public. Firstly, they can trivialize the risks of smoking, but also they distort the facts and blow them out of proportion, making it difficult for people to make the right decisions for themselves. We should all be able to make informed decisions about our health and lifestyle, not to be fooled into believing things that aren't true. So what's the truth? The real culprit is physical inactivity. Sitting won't kill you, but a sedentary lifestyle will. And more of us aren't getting enough movement in our days, putting us at risk of long-term conditions. So essentially what we're trying to say is build movement into every day. All physical activity, even if it's just walking more often, has a good effect on our health. There's almost nothing else you can do that will make a bigger difference to your physical and mental health, especially as you get older. But what about people with a very inactive job, such as working in an office or studying at school? If you're at a desk for most of the day, find ways to add activity in your daily routine. You won't even feel like exercising that much. A sit-stand desk can be a start, but it won't be enough. Here are some other top tips for making your lifestyle an active, healthy one that will make you feel more active. Build in more walking. Benefits are increased mental focus, lower risk of type 2 diabetes and heart disease, plus a mood booster. If you're having to work from home, what I would suggest is that you just go for a walk and come back home. Potentially you could go for a walk with your family all together. It depends what your rota is. But if you are going to work, potentially you could park your car 15 minutes away from where you work and walk the rest of the distance and then walk back to your car in the evening. These are all small ways that can help you. Other top tips could be set a reminder to get up every 30 minutes, stand or walk around while on the phone, take a walk break every time you have a coffee or tea break, swap some TV time for more active tasks or hobbies. Finally, instead of taking the lift, take the stairs. So let's talk about neck and back pain, which has become increasingly common since the corona pandemic. So let's start with your computer. One of the biggest obstacles people are facing in remote work is that now they're using their laptop as opposed to a desktop computer. Laptops are great for short periods of time, but from an ergonomic standpoint, they're a bit of a nightmare. So what I do suggest is to place your laptop or monitor on a stack of books so that it's at eyebrow level, and to use an external mouse and a keyboard. With regards to neck and back pain, one thing I would suggest is stretching your neck will help to relieve built-up tension and stress. You can find simple stretches through the internet. Perform your neck stretches often during the day and do them gently. Sometimes having a long hot shower can help soothe an achy sore neck. I also would highly recommend trying some gentle exercises like yoga or biking. Not only will it help with the neck, but it's also a great way to just stretch out and de-stress from the day. The other thing which I mentioned before, which I'll say again, is to take regular breaks. In the 2011 study, workers who reduced their sitting time by 66 minutes a day experienced less upper back pain and neck pain and improved moods. So our body doesn't like to be in a position for more than 30 minutes. So if you can, get up and walk around, as said before. Even if you're in your room or at home working, one idea would be essentially just getting up and just doing a lap around your room or just around your house would actually help to just break up the day. We'll also be telling you later on in the podcast about Dr. Shonpal's desk workout routine. Wow, sounds pretty cool, huh? It's very short and sweet, won't take too long, but it'll be super cool for your health and it'll make you feel so much better. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to suggest one top tip to take away. It would be to walk 10,000 steps a day. This 10,000 steps a day is a number which is created by research in Japan, and it's quite a clever way to just think about being more active. Interesting story about the 10,000 steps. The magic number of 10,000 dates back to a marketing campaign conducted shortly before the start of the 1964 Tokyo Olympic Games. A company began selling a pedometer called the Manpoke, man meaning 10,000, po meaning steps, and ke meaning meter. It was hugely successful, and the number seems to have stuck. There's nothing wrong with 10,000 steps, but it seems to be psychologically a good number for most of us to aim at. But at the same time, counting steps may be counterproductive for the fittest too, signaling that they can stop once they reach 10,000 instead of getting fitter. My suggestion is to count it if it motivates you, but remember, there's nothing special about 10,000 steps. Set the goal that is right for you. It might be more or it might be less, or it might just be throwing out your tracker entirely. I also recommend trying to do your steps in the morning because that's the best time that your body is exposed to bright morning light, which correlates with lower body weight. Also, getting up in the morning and doing exercise allows your body to in tune with its natural circadian rhythms. So in summary, what I would say is that sitting is not the new smoking, but I would say that a sedentary lifestyle is very dangerous. And what I've also been trying to highlight is the mass media is the most important and significant source of health information for the general public. News coverage of any health risk influences our own knowledge and perception, not only for the public but also for healthcare professionals. Conflicting or distorted information regarding health benefits and risks or personal behavior choices can lead to confusion and doubt with respect to important health recommendations. The main point essentially is about listening to our bodies, but also being aware of the scientific data that is available. What I would suggest is that every 30 minutes you get up and be active, whether that's getting a cup of tea, going to talk to your colleague or your family member, or going on the phone, whatever it is, just try and be a bit more active. You can even incorporate Dr. Shonpal's desk workout routine every 30 minutes, which is as follows. Number 1, you're going to get up, stretch your whole body out like a big yawn, stretch your arms and your legs for about 10 seconds, and then you're going to move your neck up and down because your neck gets a lot of tension. So up, down, left, right. Then you go clockwise and then anti-clockwise. Do that for about 30 seconds. And then I'd like you to do some squats for 30 seconds and then some calf raises. And that's it. Very simple. Makes you feel good. If you're being super keen, a bonus is to do some desk push-ups, but I won't push it too much. Get the pun? Ha ha ha. There is also strong scientific evidence that we should focus on moving freely, essentially alternating between standing and sitting. This is where adjustable height standing desks make sense, making it possible to transition from sitting to standing at the push of a button. If that's not possible, you can always change your work arrangement, sitting down on a desk sometimes, and essentially maybe making your desk a standing desk, and that can all vary. But it's important when you're sitting to give your body the freedom to make small adjustments. Shifting your weight, stretching your legs, opening your hips, even bouncing can make all the difference in how you feel and what kind of energy you bring to your day. So let's summarize what we've talked about. We discussed the fact that sitting is the new smoking, and we've explained that that's not the case. But at the same time, of course, sitting won't kill you, but a sedentary lifestyle will. And as I said before, most of us don't move enough in our day, putting us at risk of long-term health conditions. So it's important that we move as much as we can, use Dr. Shonpal's workout routine from the desk, and make sure you build movement into every day. I recommend 10,000 steps as a good starting point, but I also think you should modify it depending on how you feel. Essentially, you need to work and listen to your body and adjust things according to how you feel. Media has a huge impact on our own understanding of health. So it is important to review evidence-based medicine and come to our own personal understanding. I think ultimately this episode explains the importance of balance and understanding, not going over the top with anything, and that small changes can make a huge impact on our health. And last but not least, I end with a thought of the week, which I tend to do every week from now on. And this thought of the week is in relation to this podcast. The thought is, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. What will you do differently by listening to this latest edition of my podcast? What have you learned? You can check out a summary of Dr. Shonpal's desk workout exercises and much more on my Instagram, Dr. Take It Easy, and on Facebook, Take It Easy with Dr. Shonpal. Make sure you click like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week.